Libra, welcome to your end of December 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So, just shuffling the cards. So the event that we call it, which is Jupiter and Saturn going into Aquarius, this is an area of your life which a lot of you should resonate deeply with, which is the fifth house. Aquarius is a fellow air sign to you. This is happening on the winter solstice on the 21st. And this can be a time this is also a time when your sun is going into the fourth house of home and family. So it's very interesting because you have this fun energy with these two longer range planets or longer transiting planets. Jupiter and Saturn, not the longest, obviously, they don't have that long a transit, but compared to the sun, which is only a month, you have Jupiter a year, and Saturn 2.5 years, or you could say close to 3 years. So this is an area that is going to be lit up for you in 2021. This area of the fifth house, which has to do with love, which is a topic that you may be very interested in, and also creativity, another area, because your ruler is Venus, that you love the arts and anything creative. But all forms of pleasure. And if you are looking to start your own business, that could be the fifth house as well, and Jupiter and Saturn there. So then we're going to have, this is more cardinal energy, talking about first the sun going into Cancer, and then we're going to have a full moon on the 29th or the 30th, depending on where you live, in Cancer, early degree of Cancer, 8 degrees or so. So Cancer is that another angular house, but before you, so the 10th house, for the early birds or the early degrees. And for the rest of you, this will be in the 9th house. So for some of you, this can be some sort of career advancement and things of that nature. Maybe retiring, who knows? For most of you, this is probably going to be in the 9th house, and this could be related to higher education or even like a spiritual download, which can run the gamut, can guide you in whatever area of life you feel kind of a bit conflicted in. Okay, let's see. Or you could be finishing like some spiritual training. I said spiritual training in the first card I got, or actually the first two cards I got are both pentacles. Gotta love it. Pick an additional card. Well, there's the world, and the world is possibly showing you some sort of finale ending in your life. The heart of the matter, the 10 of Pentacles. This is a card of family, money, inheritance. This is the inheritance card, probably the number one inheritance card. This is also a card of just, affluence itself. The number 10 is the kind of the height of something, or the highest point. And so this may be an area of life that is really concerning you for some reason at the moment. When I look at the past position, we have the King of Pentacles. And if any of you are dealing with shared resources. The king can be the father, but it can be somebody in the financial system. So usually I think, because if this is money or inheritance matters, it could be coming from the father's side, but perhaps there is this some kind of conflict here with the money. Either unequal distribution, somebody is the executor, somebody was made the executor, maybe even this could be you, that you have that power. The king would be the ultimate power, and that is creating problems, you know. I say you because this is your reading, but who knows? The point is that something with money that is family money may be being dealt with either with an expert, or that you are the, whatever they call it. I can't think of that name, but you know what I'm talking about. The person in charge of the money. And that might be problematic for other siblings. They might accuse you of being the favorite. And I also think that a Libra person would be the one, because you tend to have the most class. They always say if you say somebody's classy, that you have no class. Um, but you know what I mean, that you're pretty suave, and you're very diplomatic, and you may have a parent, possibly a father, who always like that quality in you and wants you to be kind of the peacemaker, but it's attracting a lot of drama to you. And for other people, this can simply be that you're seeing, this could be a very boring interpretation, that you are trying to plan for the future and you're seeking the counsel of some financial planner. That could be the King of Pentacles too. But I always look at the more psychodrama, because then we have the higher message and we have the Four of Cups. And you can see the clouds, which represent the universe, or even to me, another person being inspired to reach out. And with cups, there's an emotional component to that. And look at the person's expression. They're like, whatever. Um, that can indicate that there's a lot of bad blood, that a lot of resentments and things of that nature that have caused perhaps you to turn away from someone or be indifferent to them. And, you know, Libra people will probably not be rude to somebody, but if in your heart of hearts you're tired of what you perceive to be games or other, you know, like power plays or something like that, you just may feel this sense of indifference at the end of the day. And this could be with a sibling. If this is like a marriage situation, because I'm getting some kind of a personal situation and possibly shared resources, even with the Ten of Pentacles, that kind of thing. This could even be like being with somebody and maybe even doing so because they were very generous to you, they were very affluent, and yet the emotions are not there. And you know, a Libra person likes nice things, but by the same token, you may be feeling deprived of love, and not just, maybe that other person is showing you, is giving you affection, but you have a hard time returning it in an authentic way, because you simply don't have those feelings for that person. And that might even make you feel a bit guilty, because you might feel like you should be, you know, be a certain way, and you just can't. It's just not within, you know, you don't have it in you to do that. What crosses you is the Wheel of Fortune. This is, to me, a lack of alignment. It might be, you know, it's so funny because they always have those sayings like, you always get something that you don't want when you don't need it. You always, when you really need something, sometimes it's not there, but then somebody's offering you something when you don't really want it. And the other thing too is this idea of, do you always get to have things be fair? Okay. So maybe, even though the Wheel of Fortune is not about fairness, I think about it in certain situations. And that's one of the things that Libra probably bothers Libra more than anything, when they see that things are not fair in life. And that's only when you look at things at the mundane level. You have no way of knowing if it isn't totally in divine order. Because, I believe we live past lives, and I believe that we choose the experiences that we have. So even on the if on the surface it looks like something is unfair, it's hard to really know if ultimately that's actually the case. And so if something doesn't go your way, how will you perceive it? Will you think that it means that, the world is against you? If this is some kind of inheritance matter, and inheritance, it doesn't have to be that somebody died. It could be some money that the parents wanted to give to all their children while they were still alive. I mean, that happens as well. Um, Maybe they sold their house and they're going to downsize, and they decided to gift different children. And if they gave different amounts of money and that felt like really bad, sometimes they will give maybe their adult children who have children of their own. And if you don't have a child, you may say, well, that's not my fault. I shouldn't be penalized for that. Those kinds of things that come up. But being able to transcend those feelings of whether or not you're being treated fairly or not, I think is really important. And then we have, as the what is coming in, we have the Strength card, and this can indicate the sense of, I think, what I would say, individuating. Now, this is especially true if you either are going through your first Saturn return, or you're approaching it, where you're near the age of 30 or just past the age of 30, and you're able to see your parents in a more balanced light instead of idealizing them. Um, and the same thing if you married somebody who's a lot older than you, and maybe that's with the King of Pentacles, and you married them to take care of you financially. Maybe you had a child and you needed somebody to take care of you. That's also a possibility. And in those cases, being able to have the strength to um, see yourself as a separate person, and see that that other person is not perfect, and they are, they have their own flaws that maybe don't, you no longer have the sense that you are supposed to be with that individual. There's a theme that runs through here that has to do with how much do material resources have to do with your um, inner resources, because the Strength card is really about that inner fortitude. And sometimes that means that you have to um, step out kind of on faith, but also not being afraid to maybe live at a different level. Maybe some of you have gotten attached to a certain lifestyle that you have to, it's almost like a spiritual thing. I think with the Four of Cups, it's like realizing when something isn't working. It really is like creating a sense of malaise, emotional malaise within yourself. And how much is that worth financially? Ultimately, your happiness is worth so much more than uh, a certain lifestyle that is empty on the inside. So the strength card is really more about knowing. To me, it's about knowing yourself as well, and that giving you that sense of being able to love yourself and not have to use these outer trappings to define yourself. Because then I got as the outcome card, I picked another card because I usually don't. I don't end readings with the Five of Pentacles because this can be um, a card that's connected to worries about money. Sometimes the worries are um, valid because the person is out of work or they feel like they don't have enough money, and it really might be true in that sense. But what they said, it's hard to see it in this particular deck. But since this is faithful to Pamela Coleman Smith's illustration in the Rider Waite deck, you can see the gold or the yellow. That's supposed to represent the stained glass windows of a church. I mean, that's what it is in the other deck. And these people are turning their backs on it. They're not looking at the spiritual, they're just seeing the material. And so, in the law of attraction sense, it's like lack of gratitude to me of what you do have, but also fear of poverty, a fear of not having enough. Sometimes these are irrational fears, but sometimes it's also um, just a general lack consciousness, which tends to make the person pessimistic about a lot of things. And that's why when you get back into that mindset of, attracting more good to you, you have to start with gratitude and seeing what you have. And I think too with the Four of Cups that's also the case, because the Four of Cups is a card of malaise. And there's another word I'm looking for that is, the sense of like, no matter what the universe is giving you, it's not good enough. And when you get into that mindset, that can really, maybe that's where the Wheel of Fortune is in the challenge position. It can kind of put you on a downward spiral where you don't see what you have that is so beautiful right in front of you in this moment. And then the card I picked as clarification is the World card, the last card of the Major Arcana. So that can be, some sort of major ending to a cycle in your life. And whether this is a relationship, whether this is a job, or um, sometimes I mention this, I don't know how often this is true, but the Ten of Pentacles can be a family business. And so if that is something that you are connected to and you don't want to be, then that can produce a lot of guilt and confusion and things like that. So I just wanted to fit that one in as well. And, but even like a relationship where the main attraction is just the financial, that doesn't make you a bad person if that's the case, but you do have to be honest with about your feelings to yourself. But again, with the Five of Pentacles, sometimes people always are blaming external circumstances for why they're unhappy. So the Four of Cups can be dissatisfaction. I think that was the word I was really looking for. And sometimes people are always like saying it's because of this. They're blaming outside forces. And really, their own mentality prevents them from really having a sense of true appreciation, because they have like so many desires that can never really be fulfilled, and they're really trying to become happy through fulfillment of external desires, materialism, or they don't understand who they are and they're trying to define themselves through outer things, and that doesn't do it. So yeah, that's what I have for you. It's like I can never do like real just light and bubbly readings. They're usually pretty intense, but oh well, that's just how it goes. It's not anything bad. I'm just focusing on, what these cards mean to me. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this or got something out of it. If you would like a private reading, I'm primarily an astrologer, and you can find out the type of readings that I offer. I have a look at 2021 for you, a combination with natal chart interpretation, etc. The link is below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.